Army Sergeant Chris Bacchus survived the assault on Baghdad, a deployment to Afghanistan, and a second tour in Iraq.
What specifically killed your brother?
He died because he mixed narcotic drugs. Whenever he had an issue with them, they would increase either the dosage or the potency of the individual pill.
A bomb couldn't kill this Marine, but a bottle did.
Chris Bacchus avait dans son système 2 antidépresseurs, 2 opiacés et le médicament anti-anxiété Ativan. Au total, 27 ordonnances ont été trouvées sur les lieux du décès, la plupart récentes. L'autopsie a révélé que c'est l'interaction des médicaments qui l'a tué, ce que tout docteur digne de ce nom aurait pu prédire. Le cas de Chris Bacchus est en fait similaire à des centaines d'autres. À 700 km de là, Stan et Shirley White célébraient le retour sain et sauf de leur fils, caporal du corps des marines, Andrew White, revenu à 23 ans de la zone de combat. Il ne se doutait pas de ce qui allait se passer quand il est allé demander de l'aide à l'hôpital des vétérans local et s'est retrouvé diagnostiqué et drogué.
Andrew's behavior really started to deteriorate. We saw more and more withdrawal. We saw anger issues. At one point, he slept for 2 or 3 days at a time.
The psychiatrist, their solution to his deteriorating condition was to increase his medications or to change the medications.
Le 12 février 2008, Caporal White est mort dans son sommeil. Il n'a même pas bougé, il s'est juste éteint.
The coroner's report said it was an intoxication of these drugs. Did not mention, but his heart stopped beating.
Andrew being 23, being very healthy, not having any major issues, you shouldn't die in bed.
Il était l'un des 4 anciens militaires, tous de 20 et quelques années, trouvés morts dans leur lit en Virginie de l'Ouest, à seulement quelques mois les uns des autres. Il a fallu une enquête obstinée par un neurologue de San Diego pour en découvrir la raison.
I tried to understand how they could have died, what the mode, the mechanism of death could have been. And these dead in an undisturbed bed were cardiac. Suddenly the heart stops for some reason.
Suivant chaque piste, il a découvert que chacun d'eux avait eu un diagnostic du SSPT et tous prenaient le même cocktail de psychotropes.
Came across literature on the antipsychotics, and they said that the antipsychotics have a particular danger. They can stop the heart suddenly. And here these veterans, all 3 were on a combination of drugs which can cause or lead to sudden cardiac death. Might this not be the tip of an iceberg? Might there be others? And to make a long story short, that list grew to 250, 300, and today it is 351 probable cardiac deaths. The risk of sudden cardiac death makes those drugs truly unfit for human consumption, and yet they're being used like jelly beans in the military.
Yeah, we're watching me here, Devil Dog.
Un autre de ces soldats morts d'un arrêt cardiaque est le caporal Chad Oligschlager à 21 ans.
Are you getting that? It's machine gun fire. We don't know where it's coming from. But no worries. We have our sandbag structures. Carry on.
Chad was hilarious. You know, super smart. Super smart.
He was a lot of fun. You know, he played sports, you know, all of that, like any normal kid was, outdoors all the time.
He was willing to make friends and talk to everybody. So that's kind of, you know, what caught my eye in the beginning as well. So he was just fun to be around.
This Native American has no comment.
Well, he told me the reason why he wanted to join the military was that if he went, then maybe his children wouldn't have to go.
He really felt like it was his duty as a citizen to participate.
When he came back, we realized he was different. He had asked his commander that, he wanted to seek counseling. He needed some help because he was having problems dealing with what he had done over there and what he saw on that first tour.
All right, the reason I'm down here and not up there is because as soon as the IED went off, we were talking about a possible trigger man. We don't know where they are because we never know where they are.
Just all kind of saw like, okay, they're gonna give you some medication, you're gonna, see a psychiatrist for a little bit, talk it out, things will get better. We were so naive.
When he was on the drugs, he seemed like he was just doped up all the time. He was disoriented.
It literally turned him into a walking zombie. I mean, after he would take that, and he was real adamant about making sure he took his medication on time.
It just felt like the medication made him forget what he was doing, made him forget some things that had happened in the past. We'd be talking about stories and he wouldn't believe what I was telling him.
And he'd take Seroquel and then 10 minutes later be going back to his pill bottle and say, well, I gotta take my medication. And it's like, you just took it.
He wasn't in control, I felt like, in the end. He just really didn't know what he was doing. He wasn't going to work when he was supposed to. He said he would just sleep in his room.
We're gonna pause for a second due to malfunctions and technical difficulties.
I got the knock on the door at 11 o'clock at night. But when I heard the knock on the door, I knew what it was.
They had found Chad. And my thought was, okay, great, where is he? Where's his little shit? I hadn't heard from him. And he said that he was at the barracks. I said, okay, is something wrong? Can I go see him? And he said that they found him in his room, that he was dead on the floor. They didn't know how long he'd been there, that he was already gone, and I couldn't see him. I couldn't even get on base. All I could think of was that he was alone in that room by himself, that he was supposed to be safe.
It was harder for us because we always expected, if he's in the military, he's in the Marines, we kind of expected that if he were to die, he was going to die when he was out on deployment. He was going to die, killed in action, something. We didn't expect him to come home and die.
I had a doctor at Texas A&M University read the autopsy and then said that the levels of the meds in there were not excessive. They were in line with what was prescribed.
Nothing was out of range of dosage, but they looked at it and they said, how come he's taking, 7 of them? It's a lot. And the doctor looked right at me and said, they killed him.
I blame the psychiatrists and I blame the doctors for prescribing those pills. Those are the ones that never checked up on him and let him walk out with all the other pills. Didn't take any of the pills away, just kept giving him more pills. And they're the ones.
Good morning, and hoorah.
Pour les psychiatres, de tels décès sont des overdoses accidentelles. Mais n'y a-t-il pas négligence? Et tandis que certains de nos soldats succombent sous les prescriptions de cocktails mortels, on se demande si les psychiatres essayent même de découvrir pourquoi. Et s'il est plus que déplorable que des soldats soient en train de mourir, cette surmédication se fait sentir au-delà des soldats même. Elle peut aussi toucher les vies de ceux qui leur sont chers.